Okay, these are the tools that we're using this evening. I always start off with all my customers washed, sterilizing all my implements. As you can see, I'm using the Cool Care. I'm combing through the hair, check all abrasions to make sure everything is good. Also, you see me cleaning my tool, which is the Andis Masters. I start all my haircuts with a guideline. I like my guideline nice and clean and precise. Right, I work my way up towards the crown area. If you notice, I'm doing it in a V-type motion so I can get it all the way nice and curved and even so I can get my mohawk as precise as possible. I want my blend to look nice in every light. I'm following the steps. You see I'm working a V in real nice in the back. I build this up so I can have a real nice detailed blend. Okay, make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, you do this following steps on the same side. You work the blend in real nice. So I start from the bottom to make sure I can get both sides perfect on both ends so you don't have a crooked mohawk. And as you see, I'm trying to get as clean as possible with the tool that I have. As you see, I'm working my way up. I always go back, double check and make sure all my lines are clean. Make sure I don't miss anything. Like I said, we really want to focus on that point being nice and clean. Next, if you notice, I leave a little bit of the edge out just so I can have a nice defining line in the front for my shape up. And it also gives my blend more detail. Real nice and clean. And at this point, after the cleaning process, I normally start my shape up. But you gotta make sure everything is clean. So I use my same implement that I use for shaping up. I use also as a cleaning device. Make sure everything is nice and clean. All I'm doing is just cleaning it out and make sure as bald as possible I can get with my tool. Repeat the same steps on the other side. I'm now cleaning the shape up. He likes it a little rough. He don't want it to look like perfect. So I leave it a little rough, but I still can get it clean as possible. As you see, I love to do my definition first so I can have my guidelines so I can follow. Cleaning the lines up very nice. I repeat the same steps on the other side just to make sure it's clean. Always make sure your customers are very comfortable in all the adjustments that you make in their hair. While I'm cutting the beard, I want him to be as comfortable as possible. You see, I do a little bit of scoop motion while I take the loose hairs off, so I won't have to go back and clean that up later. When I'm totally done on one side, I try to make sure I'm completely done. So he likes it a little rough, so I like the fact that it's clean, but it still looks like, it's a little rough on the sides. make sure he's comfortable as possible. Don't want to hurt my client. We repeat the same steps on the other side. If you notice, he likes it a little like, I guess we call it cruddy in Baltimore, a little nappy. Getting the loose hairs off. Not moving the hair around too much so it can be neat. I just want to make it so it's neat enough that it looks like it's been done. He don't want it perfect, he just want it clean. He really likes his up a little higher, so I try to keep it right on the jawbone. You see, I do a little tiny bit of combing just so I can get it nice and precise like I want, but he likes everything to remain pretty natural. He likes a wide mustache. He don't want me to mess with it too much. He want to keep everything pretty much clean as possible. I love to start on my curve. I like a real nice C curve. It gives my mohawk detail when I work the blend in. If you notice, I pull the skin to make sure I get a nice and clean cut. If you notice, he has a little imperfection in the shape up. What I do is I go over it and I tap it until I get it just the way I want it. I keep working it until I get it exactly perfect like I want it. As you can see the curve is really nice in there. It's really set. Now I start working on my blend. I start with my blend medium open, so that way I can get my levels in right without making a lot of lines. If you notice, I use a nice C or a curve stroke when I blend. I just use just the corners. Only time I use the whole thing is when I need to clean everything out clean. If you notice, I'm just using just one corner, and I'm working the corner in as I blend. Well, I'm just mainly working on that one line, nice and precise. Always clean it. He likes the top to look a little rough, so I work my way up towards the crown, nice with smooth motions. If you notice, every step, the blend gets a little cleaner and cleaner every time. The blend is starting to peak down towards the V in the back to make my mohawk look more defined. You see, I'm still on the same level of where I was. I didn't change anything. I like working my blend all the way down until I'm fully finished. I work the corners in different variations so I can achieve the best blend I can for my customer. If you notice, it has a little bulk on the top, which I'm definitely going to address in my next step. But what I need to do is make sure the bottom is very clean. As you see, I use the one guard, the magnetic guard by Andis, to take the bulk out. As you see, it just popped right back to where I need to be at to make sure that bulk is nice and clean. I do a little minor combing just to make sure that the blend area is nice and combed out and neat and even, so when he brush it or does anything different to it, the blend stays in shape. But mostly the top is pretty much nappy. I will show you, make you adjust your customer so you can see all the proper lines to get everything fully and cleanly out of there. As you see, I do a downstroke motion to make sure the bulk blends into everything perfectly. I like to call it tethering. giving the hair texture over top of the blend. So you can see the motion of the hair. Make sure it's nice and clean is evident. Now also repeat with the upstroke. Also, if you notice, I only use a corner of the blade. All my motions is just mostly the corner of the blade because I want them peaks to be really precise. I like my blend to look nice and crispy. I'll definitely repeat that until I get my desired length, my desired look. I'm going in with the half guard. Now I'm in the middle of the guard. I'm cleaning up the little steps that I left behind when I went for the bulk in the first one. Now I'm just trying to fully get that line cleanly out of there. I'm going for my final step, making sure the hair is perfect. So where you have thinner spots where the hair is not full as I want it to be, I like to address those spots by putting a little bit of dye in those spots. What I use in Baltimore, we have a thing called the airbrush, and we have product that goes inside of the airbrush. That's what I'm using right now. It's a new technique where we airbrush it so it looks defined and natural without overly processing the hair with chemicals. As you see, I'm using the card just to make sure it's just defined enough that it's not overly done. You see, I like to work the blend in as well, so you can see everything nice and precise. As you can see on top, I did any minimal moving to the top of the hair. If you look and notice, it's very clean. It's what we call a nappy look in Baltimore. It's called the cruddy. Now what I do is I go back and clean up all my lines with the razor. If you notice, each step is precise. I pull the skin, make sure I'm not hurting or run across any bumps or bruises or abrasions to hurt any further. Just detailing the line. Make sure you stretch the skin, fully stretch the skin. That way you can get that full detail. And as you can see the little bit of line and the blend at the bottom. And then you do your finishing work by cleaning it up to make sure any loose hairs are fully addressed. And then you have your finished product. You see how there's no lines of demarcation. The V is real evident. The blend blends all the way completely out. There you go with the finished product. An airbrush cruddy mohawk.